And Lars are here with us today with Contracts Connected. Zach and Lars are the AGC Technology Committee. We do these quarterly, and the format of our meetings are to have the opportunity to learn about what companies in the tech world are doing. The goal is for us to learn something new that we can communicate to the members. And our mission is to educate AGC members on what's going on out there, what the tech committee is seeing that can benefit their businesses. After these meetings, we do a write-up, and that's posted on the technology committee page on the AGC website. We typically do 2 for each meeting, but you're the only one scheduled for this one. I wanted to schedule a little more time towards the end to go through some things with the committee. I had the pleasure of going to the presentation, the panel that you were on, Lars, at the AGC. That was awesome, insightful. I had a ton of questions about Copilot, but it didn't sound like anybody really wanted to go there. We weren't ready to talk about it yet. But it's good to reconnect with you both, and welcome to our committee. And I'm excited to see what's new, and for our committee to learn what you're up to and how your technology is benefiting the industry. So, Zach, do you want to take it from there?
Yeah. So Zach Koerber, co-founder, Contracts Connected. I'm definitely more on the how we get it done side, and I'm gonna hand it off to Lars and let him introduce himself, but I think all of you guys might know him. But essentially, yeah, I'm the guy that's working behind the scenes, trying to like build it all out, make it all happen. And I work really closely with the customers over the past years. So I'm hand in hand with a lot of contract administrators literally every single day. Pretty much like yesterday, I was in 6 hours meetings with literally all contract administrators. So over the past few years, I've really gained a understanding of where their pain is, where the optimizations can live for them, and I can share a little bit more about the roadmap that has been inspired from those very users. One thing about us is we're very heavily reliant on our users telling us what should be on the roadmap. So with that, I'll get into a little bit more of that roadmap in just a second, as well as what we're doing now. And I'll hand it off to Lars first to kind of tell the backstory of Contracts Connected and its origin story.
Sure, appreciate it, Zach. Appreciate seeing some familiar names on here. Yeah, so a little background. Recovering contractor, as I like to say, and really Contracts Connected was born out of just very selfish reasons. It was very painful handling contracts, handling compliance, seeing all the disparate workflows and just how documents move through an organization, mail, email, Excel templates, and I'm just like, there's got to be a better way. Like, this is insane, right? And realizing, I could either throw people and bodies at the problem, which increased my overhead, or I could create just really killer systems and structure and honestly workflows and then software to just solve my problem. And I know we have limited time today, but the problem is really one of success. Because as you grow, you're like, great, we got more work, we got more this, more that, but then it's like, oh wait, that actually just created more problems for us. Like, oh crap, now what do we do, or how do we handle this nuance, or oh, we just got a new or now we're working with a public entity when we've only ever done private stuff. And so it just these requirements just compound and they just build and build, and before you know it, it's just thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of documents you're tracking and downloading, filing, naming, renaming. And so Zach will get into the nuance, but really the idea here was can we reimagine how companies, and in this case, specifically speaking with AGC, how general contractors and subcontractors exchange information, specifically back office contracts and compliance. Not so much RFIs, not so much plans and specs, right? That's all really important. And the industry has come up with a lot of great solutions, right? But yet when you walk over to your accounting department or your contracts department, and they're still using Excel trackers, and they're still downloading, the third or the sixth redline version of a contract negotiation, and then they're sending an email and trying to, this is what's happening. It's like there's a missing piece here, and honestly, it's a more silent piece than what I was expecting, because you guys know Scott on this call. I mean, he'll tell you my philosophy on a lot of this, but it's like this is a huge chunk of business that needs attention, and there's many great people that are, dare I use the word, suffering through inadequate and unstructured workflows. And if we can put better structure to this, one, internally we win, but two, our industry partners or subcontractors, things become more transparent. Things can glide more. And really, in an industry where we should be focusing on problems that are out in the field, what we do is we create problems due to inefficiencies and oh, I sent you that email yesterday. Well, sorry, I've gotten 250 emails since then. I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I just think that we as companies and leaders should be doing a better job of supporting our team and our workers to really solve what I believe are workflows and capacity issues, and really giving the right tools to sort of make an impact. And Contracts Connected was born out of that. Zach is going to get into a ton of nuance, but it's so much opportunity to reimagine how companies deal with what has historically just been accepted, and sort of reimagine, wait, there's an easier, more transparent way to do all this, more structured. So super blessed to be here. Thank you so much. Long AGC member, all that good stuff, and just glad to still be making an impact. So there you go.
Awesome. Thanks, Lars.
Cool. Everybody can see this slide okay? Okay, cool. All right, so really, what Lars was talking about is we're all doing the same contract work and compliance work with our vendors, depending on, what the owner is telling us we need. So if we're working on, a federal job, we need those SF 1413s, maybe it's probably Davis-Bacon, we need weekly certified payroll. So there's a ton of paperwork, and it's very structured on like a per owner basis. And a lot of this is templatized. So within companies, I'm just going to show you guys a scenario here of a federal project. On this federal project, I have my contract package that I issue a vendor on this job. I'm collecting a certificate of insurance, which I need to track the expiration dates on. I need that W-9, I need an SF 1413, SBA classification, whatever other documents you guys are seeing. This is going to depend on a company, but these are just some standard ones we see on federal projects. So that's just the contract package. I just need that right away. That alone justifies an Excel tracker. The certificate of insurance alone justifies an Excel tracker, just because, there could be 5 expiration dates on a single COI. Now, we're talking also monthly documents. So we've built this structure, and I'm going to get into like our roadmap here. So we've worked really hard to build the structure to request any documents on any schedule, and not only request those documents, but those documents by our system are perfectly filled in with the project information, the vendor information, the scope information with approval flows. And they're sent to the vendor. They're tracked on a dashboard automatically. They're reminded twice a week on what you're missing via email. So the way they're used to communicating. And then when they click on a hyperlink for a document you're requesting, they're actually going to get a full fill and sign experience. And oftentimes we see construction companies just opt for DocuSign on just the subcontract, right? But the SF 1413 also needs to be signed. Other documents all need to be signed or initialed, and usually that stuff happens in email. So this is keeping it all in one cohesive e-signature Flow, the e-signature is native to our platform. You do not need to go pay for anything. So the e-signatures and the uploads and the requesting and the tracking and the approvals, all of that's happening inside of our platform. Then you have, okay, vendor started on site. This is a federal project. I want to collect, a weekly certified payroll from them every single week, an invoice from them every single month, lien releases, daily reports. And if I have 20 vendors on this project here, that's about, almost 3,000 documents per project. And that multiplies like crazy if you go into 10, 15, 30. So, Lars's company, I think they were tracking on one of the years as 100,000 documents, 100,000 unique documents flowing between the general contractor and the vendor that most companies are using this process to do right now. So right now, there's all of these manual steps to filling out templates around your subcontract, sending it over email or sending something through DocuSign and then over email. Then you have all those attachments, W-9 certificates of insurance, stuff like that. That's the contract package. And then those reoccurring documents just create this cycle of manual requesting, reminding, tracking, and filing away, downloading attachments, renaming file attachments. And there's no need to, people's time these days is much more valuable than downloading an email attachment and just renaming it from whatever they preview.pdf to their structured file name, right? So that's just time wasted in our opinion. You can spend your time at much higher value activities. But really, this is the structure in which we have built, and we have built this in a really awesome way. We have, a lot of organizations, even with multiple entities, able to track not only the templates and, version control on their templates now, but they're able to track all of the different agreements and the different compliance requirements for the different owners on different JVs and different entities that they're working with underneath a single organization. One contract team could be trying to operate as, 3 different company names, and that just multiplies the complexity times 3. We also are inching further and further along on our AI journey within this. So that's great. We have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of documents for all of our vendors. Where is the second biggest time suck in these organizations? And it really comes down to, okay, I got a certificate of insurance back. Should this be approved, or do they not meet the limits that we set in that subcontract? So we are now building out agents on a per document basis at first right now. So we're releasing these things as a, document by document basis. But for example, on the certificate of insurance one that we have in beta right now, it's basically reading all of the endorsements, all of the limits, and then it's referencing what the company has put onto that vendor as the requirement. And that is one, giving a first pass, giving a green, yellow, or red light on the person that's going to come in and give that final approver. That's like human in the loop, right? So it comes in, it gives you its insights that it found inside the document. Hey, this looks good. Yellow, hey, this should be flagged for human review. Go look at this policy. Or red, like it's very clear. We know the expiration date's not good. So that cannot be approved. We recommend for you to reject that document, and then our system will automatically go try to collect a new one. So the second piece is, all about this document analytics, and think about, the people that are on site doing weekly certified payrolls every single week. It's a ton of time adding up little boxes, checking and, making sure this matches that, and the Davis-Bacon wage was carried over here. That is all being automated by AI. That's what we're building out is, okay, documents are here. Let's give them insights. Let's give them intelligence. Let's do the review for them. And we're doing that in an effort to build a fully autonomous contract administrator for a company. Call the contract administrator. Email the contract administrator, ask it to fill out, a subcontract. It can operate just like an employee on your team, but we are inching towards that more and more every day. And right now we're already saving a ton of time as far as all this document collecting and this first level of analysis. And I forgot to mention, but we do also have the first fully native included with our e-signature experience redlining platform between general contractors and their vendors. So between the two, a vendor can redline back and forth. It keeps it all within the ecosystem. Nobody's ever downloading files and messing with them. It keeps a record of who requested the redline, who approved the redlines, and it also gives AI risk analysts on like why you guys should care about that redline. So, the contractors removing clause 3.5, you should care about it because it increases your risk on this, and this level. So that's a top line overview of what we have. So it's really about taking this drudgery of copy and paste into template after template after template, and then trying to track things in Excel and email. And it's just automating the entire thing, streamlining the entire thing, and then we're giving AI analytics on top of those documents they get back.
Zach, that was awesome. And I'll also say, with sort of clarity around what it is, what we're doing, one of the big pains I had was everything was siloed. I had these very specific tools that, required a login over here or a login over here and a login over here. And before you know it, the organization's just getting death by 1,000 cuts. Just another platform, another login, more tech fatigue, more money going out. At the end of the day, we have templates, we have contracts, we need to negotiate these things, and based on that contract and what was finalized, we have requirements. And being able to put that into a central structured sort of, dare I use the word database, but really environment, amazing. One, simplification can occur, but in the age of AI and what we believe is amazing intelligence can be gained from that. And then automation and maturity can flow into that. We strongly believe in structured data. Contracts Connected is a structured data platform. Every building we build has a structure to it. I'm not a bowl of spaghetti, run your business on a bowl of spaghetti. So there's workflows, there's processes. We manage risk through proper decision workflows. And so, that is what we've replicated here. And then with those, again, bringing to market agentic abilities across multiple different document types that we feel extremely strong, and it's being proven by our customers that, we're adding immense value. So, Mandy, I don't know. I know we're probably, I think, 3 minutes over. Appreciate the opportunity. Maybe open up for questions, but I'll hand it back to you.
Great. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm sure we have a lot of questions. What do we have from the committee?
And Zach, what are we, SOC 2 Type 2 here? Yeah. So
that was going to be question number one was SOC 2 Type 2, if that was in there. So I assume so, that you mentioned it. Is this hosted out of one of the major cloud services, or how do people access it? So how do you do access control? Is it tied in where it's all its own security, or can you integrate into, like you mentioned, like single sign-on and authentications, limiting those? Can it be tied to like Azure AD or anything like that for permissions to get into the system?
So as far as where we're hosted, AWS, West Coast servers, so all within the US. As far as like access and security, that might be a more technical question than I'm qualified for. But as far as, our security standards, we have consultants working with us that have helped build out our DevOps infrastructure to make sure everything is obviously very secure. We're dealing with W-9s and even weekly certified payroll is very sensitive information. So best practices are followed around all that stuff.
Great. And then are you storing all of these documents on the back end? So then basically, no offense intended, basically acting like a Procore, basically, where you're storing a lot of that document to help
Joe, that was very offensive, I'm going to tell you. So yeah, we have to store it because that's how we can gain intelligence from it. However, having been a Procore user and being exceptionally frustrated at me getting my information, that is something that I was like, I will not be that guy, right? We will not be that problem in the industry. So we make it exceptionally easy to transfer that information because it's not mine anyway to begin with. It's the contractors, right? It's the partners. And what is unique is whatever a subcontractor uploads, like that's their record, right? They now have that contemporaneous record from day one till infinity. Every action, every compliance, contract movement is recorded, and now that record exists. So immense intelligence, but more importantly, we make it exceptionally easy with like 2 clicks to download 10,000 documents that are perfectly named, structured. So when the auditor comes in and says, I want to see every certified payroll in the past 3 years submitted for this one vendor across all projects, you can literally do it in like, I don't know, 8 seconds.
Is there a plan to allow us to install this engine in our own environments?
Yes.
Yeah, we've offered for those like under CMMC, we've offered for them to, have it hosted on a CMMC compliance server. Since we're not necessarily hosting any COI data in here, nobody's taken us up on it yet, but we offer it. We have the partnership that we can do that with them. So
yeah. Good questions.
Yeah.
And a lot, right or wrong, a lot of the perspective I've shared with Zach and as a philosophy for the company is born out of the pain as a contractor dealing with software companies. So it's like, no, this is ridiculous. Why isn't it this way? So we try to be the catalyst for change around that. We really do.
How has adoption been?
Zach, go ahead. You can answer that one.
yeah, I live in the adoption world here. I'm always online with them. So as far as our onboarding process, we try to approach it in a white glove fashion. So, we're bringing in a lot of these companies have used the same template for 5, 10, 15. It's a Word document that's been, cut up and changed in this clause, and then that table was added. And really what we do is in the first onboarding, we really get a good understanding for, workflows. Okay, who requests the contract? Who fills out the contract? Who do you then send it to for approval? And then who gets it in the subcontractor's hands? That's like the first step. And then the second step is really the templates. Send us over your templates, and then we configure the system to perfectly autofill every single template and attachment with your project and support details. So meeting 1 is usually like an hour. Meeting 2 is more of a training. So by meeting 2, we have all their templates in there and we know the workflow, and they just kind of watch, right? Meeting number 3 is what we call a simulation day. And that's where the adoption happens, in my opinion. And we kind of make a big celebration about what we call a simulation day. But I act as a vendor, and they're issuing me agreements like within seconds and minutes. Like they're just filling out, 75-page subcontracts with 1 click, and sending their other 10 attachments, and updating the tracker, and routing everything for e-signature with 1 click. And that's when they're like, oh my God. And I send back the documents to them. They see how it files away. Usually I see them needing to, like, the simulation day is great. I have them use real project information in those simulation days. But I see the real adoption happen after 2 real contracts. After they send 2 real contracts, they like stop wanting to hang out with us and our support team. Like they stop replying. They're like, I don't need you guys anymore. And we see their numbers go. So it's been great, actually. And in a world of construction software, people are very, they're used to a certain UI that looks like it was designed as like part of Windows 95. And we've come at this as a very, user-friendly approach, and it's very intuitive. And we work really hard to make sure that, we call it like the grandma test or something. Like, can my grandma get in here and do this? Or would she know where to click? We ask ourselves that all the time. So yeah, I hope that gives you a little bit of answer. I see that that Bill asked a question about the cost model.
Yeah.
So we take the approach of, we only want to really charge when we actually save contractors time. And we save them time depending on how much documentation we're generating, collecting, storing, tracking, getting signed, and so on. So There are 3 different kind of options for features. And depending on, what you want, it could be as little as $500. Then you're just paying on a per credit basis after that. The credits are only taken if you issue, contracts and documents and stuff like that. So we give you unlimited users internally. You can add unlimited vendors. You can have unlimited templates. And their onboarding, they don't have limits on like support or like there's nothing that's custom development hours like, other companies might do. It's all very intuitive and users can usually update their templates in like a Word doc kind of feeling. So we'll help guide them along with that as much as they need to make sure they're adopted. But really the costs incur just when we're literally saving them time. And we only save them time when we're creating, sending, and managing that document flow between them and their vendors. So we tried to take a really unique approach there. It's been something we've been passionate about and worked hard to try to figure out because there's a lot of companies out there that'll do, revenue-based or, butts and seats. And we think both of those don't really foster true growth. And shared logins don't foster adoption, right? So, yeah, hopefully that answers that, Bill.
Yeah, and the pricing model was to be able to be quantified at bid time. You know about how many vendors you're gonna need on the job, and you know about how long the job is gonna take you. And based on that token logic or usage logic, you can put a number to it and pass that along to an owner, or include that as part of the job cost rather than an overhead. So anyway, it's predictable, and that was the most important thing that I always desired. And personally, I was never a fan of percentage of revenue because that's a certainty around like a heads I win, tails you lose model, right? Like I'm not going to give you, you're not going to get money back from me after you give me a lot of money. And then I always felt that the butts and seats model was not about, it struggled with collaboration. And this platform is designed to collaborate. So we're passionate about trying to promote value around collaboration and when we save time. Any other
Awesome.
questions?
It's nice that this was created out of knowing the industry and being a contractor. There's a lot to be said for that. What can this committee do to support you?
We're really, we're really big and pushing really hard on releasing a lot of features that we think are going to drive a lot of word of mouth once it's like changing, the industry. And we're really, we just want to get people's eyes on this. We just want to show people, what we're working on, how we're building it. The feedback we get in demos, whether they become a customer or not, it does shape how we build this platform. And with Lars, like you said, being here and living this pain, we've really kind of taken that stance, and he can deeply relate and say, oh yeah, I totally know what they're talking about, right? Because me as just somebody that can lead a tech team, I wouldn't be able to completely relate to this without him translating a lot of that stuff. So the more people we can meet with, the more people we can show this to, the more people that we can get the eyes on, that's really like our one and only ask. And if they learn something from us about structured templates, whether they use us for those structured templates or they don't, and the automation around these things and what's possible as far as like this mass amount of documents, we really structure these product walkthroughs as, value leading. So we want somebody to walk away from our demos feeling like they learned something, and that they can take something away and incorporate it into their business. So really it's just about introductions and conversations.
Yeah. Well, we'll put a post up on the technology page, and then probably not this Monday, but the following Monday, that we'll have an article in the Monday Morning Quarterback, and be sure to include your information in a write-up. I can run that by you before we publish it, just so you can take a look. But hopefully that's a good way that we can help you build awareness and what you're doing. So
Yeah, that would be awesome. I can send you a couple of like links and stuff too that might be helpful.
okay. Okay.
Awesome. And then I saw Bill. We have time for Bill's question, or
Let's do it, and then
Okay.
we'll wrap it up.
I'll make it short. So this system is agnostic to. We say contracts and compliance, and I give you guys a scenario of a contract package and on-site documentation and such. This system is fully flexible to collect any type of document on any type of schedule at any point in time. It's really just a document flow engine between primes and the vendors, right? And with that, Bill, it doesn't matter if it's like safety requirements or safety program documentation. If it's just something that needs to go back and forth and needs to be tracked, it can be built in here. We just know that, you know, the contracts and compliance has notoriously been this like missing third leg of the stool. There's really great project management out there. There's really great accounting, but there's been this like nothing that connects the contracts and all the compliance package and the on-site documentation. And we feel like we will be that, you know, that third leg of the stool into the industry that's been notoriously missing. But as far as how it flows, you could load any kind of document in here and collect on any type of schedule.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.